Hi, I'm Allie, and 2 years ago, I introduced the Fruits Basket anime to my fiancé.
And I'm John, and as an anime only, I'm so stoked to see which of my theories are right.
And which are questionable.
So join us today as we talk about Season 3, Episode 1, the premiere. Okay, so where are we starting?
Well, we're back. Look who's back. Back again.
Fruba's back. Tell a friend.
Oh my god.
We love Eminem in this household, except when he's problematic.
Oh my god. Okay, we're already starting strong, guys.
Starting so strong, we're back with Season 3. Oh, I'm so excited that we actually have a new episode.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Also, I just realized that, some of you might be new. So I should probably just say, hi.
Hello.
You've already heard our opening, you already know our names, but just in case you weren't familiar with us, I make sure that John doesn't get spoiled.
Yes.
So please,
yes.
please do not spoil anything in any way whatsoever. Even just being like, oh my gosh, the next episode is crazy. Like, don't even do one of those.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Spoiler tags, if you gotta get it out, make sure it's spoiler tag, read more. I don't want to be spoiled. Somehow I've gotten through 2 seasons without getting spoiled on anything.
John is probably one of the only people who didn't know that Akito was a girl.
Yeah.
Like, we're this deep. I have kept him this spoiler free, so no spoilers.
Let's get into it.
Yes.
Let's get into it.
Alrighty, so we open up with some Zodiac talk.
Yes. So they said something very curious in this part. Oh, curious. They said that the original memory forgotten by everyone, the original promise.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought that this was curious because it's like, in my mind, it's like, this seems like, ooh, mysterious. But I feel like it just makes sense with how long this curse has been around. Like, the original promise, we don't know why this curse is in place at all. Even throughout the course of this episode in particular, it doesn't seem like any of the Zodiac members have any idea why it's even a thing in the first place. And it doesn't look like Akito really has any idea either.
Yeah, I mean, we know the story that the animals showed up for a banquet and the cat didn't go because it got the wrong day. And
yeah.
We know all of that, but do we know, exactly why God in that moment was like, let's keep the banquet going forever, everybody?
Yeah, and why do they turn into animals, and why do they have this inseparable bond from God just because of this banquet? And I think that finding the answer to that question is going to be very crucial to the longevity of all of these individuals who are cursed by the Zodiac, including Akito, being able to move past the curse and eventually break it so that they can live their life. I don't think that the promise is fully lost, though. I wonder if there's almost like a secret keeper kind of deal.
Okay.
Like someone who has the records. What is the promise? Almost like a historian or a librarian.
Oh, like how Reen was looking through all the books?
Yeah.
And trying to find something?
Yeah. I wonder, we'll get into this later, if Ren has some juicy details that not even Akito has about the curse and how it's kind of constructed and structured.
That is curious.
Curious, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Okay, but for now, we catch up right back where we left off in Season 2, the finale.
Yes.
And we have Kureno and Tohru, and they're talking about Akito's gender, and Tohru's kind of struggling with that.
Although, I think she's handling it pretty well in the grand scheme of things.
Oh yeah, I mean, we recorded your reaction, and you were much louder, with a lot more, what?
No, yeah, I was shook by that one. I think that she would have the same reaction, but she's still kind of reeling from the bombshell that is arguably much larger in the grand scheme of things, that Kureno's curse is broken.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the man just keeps dropping bomb after bomb on this poor girl.
Oh, yeah, and she's just standing there taking it all, Like, oh, that too? Oh, wow, there's a lot of secrets. Okay.
Good, and now I have all of this baggage now, too.
How'd you know I wanted more to carry?
Oh my gosh.
One of the big bombshells that Kureno dropped was a little certain thing that maybe you theorized about. So, so we learn that the reason why Akito was raised male was because of Akito's mother, Ren. Good job. Pats on the back all around.
I feel very proud of that one, even though I think it was telegraphed very well.
You pick up on certain things and you just really latch onto them. And then I have to just sit there and be like, that's a very good theory, John. And I react that way to every theory, but that was one where, oh man, did we get a lot of comments under read more, like, spoiler tags. People being like, how to figure that out? I don't
But yeah, so very validating.
Yeah.
If I'd been wrong, I would have been crushed.
I know.
But this episode reveals that Ren, Akito's mother, has raised Akito to be a man ever since she was very young. Just getting that confirmation explains so much.
Yeah.
So much about Akito's character. Because Akito got so frustrated because she was talking to Hatori. And Akito just kind of blurts out that she's always leering at the Zodiac men, which explains why Akito is so protective over the Zodiac men and doesn't really like just women in general.
Yeah, and that was another theory you had. Big props again. Wow, we're just really feeding into his ego this episode, guys. Let's just start making fun of the other... No.
No, don't tear me down in different ways. But yeah, and so they get into an altercation.
One could say that choking out your mom would in fact be an altercation.
They caught some air too.
Yes, okay, wait, I have to let you know something. Okay, in the manga, this was just one page.
Yeah.
This was not this long.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Akito just pushes Ren up against a wall. Like, it's not we're not going through several layers. We're not breaking outside and choking her on the ground. None of that happens. It's very... I feel like I'm in a soap opera. I don't hate it.
I love it.
The anime, for some reason, they're like, someone punches, action time, let's go, guys!
And that's on artistic license.
Yeah.
But in this altercation, they start kind of going back and forth about bonds.
Yeah, so Akito starts out, and oh my gosh, she drops so much all in a couple sentences, and you can't even hear some of it because Ren's coughing. So, in case you didn't entirely understand what Akito was saying, got some quotes for you. So Akito said, "We have a bond you could never understand," and then Ren comes back with, like, it's not even real. Akito says, "Maybe you'd like to tell me what's real. It's not a parent's love. Plenty of people abandon their child in the Soma family just like you."
So, I'm picking up on a lot of things here.
Oh, really? Okay, do tell, please.
Counseling time with John. You get symbolism time with Allie, counseling time with John.
I feel like we're gonna have a lot in this episode.
Yeah. So, I think I've probably already said this in a past podcast about Akito's attachment style. But, like, there are a bunch of different attachment styles. Essentially, it can be boiled down to secure or insecure attachment. And within insecure attachment, there are three, essentially, like, subtypes of attachment, right? And one of those in particular is known as disorganized attachment. Now, I could talk about this for a very long time, but essentially what disorganized attachment boiled down to its most core elements is that an individual pushes away and tries to pull close the people that they want to be attached to all at the same time. And so that's why I think Akito's kind of dealing with, maybe not necessarily with Ren in particular, because I think that's very much, unless you count pulling her close by the neck.
Oh no.
But if you look at all of Akito's other relationships via the bond, it kind of fits this pattern very much. Pulling Yuki close, but also torturing him to push him away. Hattori, Kureno, like in this episode, slaps him, then hugs him, trying to, all the time, just pushing away, but also pulling closer at the same time, because it's just this very disorganized attitude. This really highlights, because her parent was just so toxic, it seems like, in her upbringing, of course, attachment would be a struggle for Akito, and Akito would lean on the bonds as this forced attachment as a crutch, because Akito has never been able to form that natural parental familial bond, except... Oh?
Where's this going?
Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Oh god, you're making your theory face.
Except...
Okay.
With her dad... Curious, who I believe that they showed in this episode, and I think it's Akira, blonde-haired dude.
Howl's Moving Castle Man.
Howl's Moving Castle Man.
Okay.
I mean, Howl was a great stand-up dude, and I think Akira was too. Until he died. Tragically. When Akito was young, let's say, at a very important developmental milestone, we see Akito being very, like a very agreeable kid at first with Yuki, playing kind of like here and there, but overall they were pretty decent with each other. And then Akito like flipped a switch when she was crying in Shigure's arms. What do you think she was crying about? Maybe the death of her father, who she cared very much about, and then her mother went bonkers and started becoming abusive and made her the man of the household?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And ever since, and so now she is stuck at that developmental age, which is why Kureno says all he can see is a crying child, because even though chronologically Akito has aged up so much since then, I think that developmentally she's still at the time when her father died.
I feel like I'm Tohru and you're Kureno and you're just dumping a bunch of stuff on me. I don't know what to do. I'm frozen.
I'm sorry, that was very long-winded, and if it's wrong, I'm sorry, everyone listening.
Everyone's furiously writing under a spoiler tag right now, like, John series, am I right, guys?
I just didn't know about the parentage thing, and so you can't really say a lot without that piece of the puzzle. And now that we see that Akira guy that Ren said that she has that bond with, I mean... who else would it be except for her dad? You know? You know, that's just my thought. It's just my thought.
Okay, so interesting that you bring up that bond, because we get some different bonds going on here. Ooh. And they're all kind of clashing. Ooh. So we have the bonds of the curse.
Yes.
And there's Akito who is saying, like, these bonds are so intense and valid and real and deep and unlike anything that you could ever know because they're sacred. So you don't understand them. And then on the opposite side, Ren, and even later Kureno, agrees with Ren by saying, no, they're unnatural and strange. They may exist, which Ren disagrees that they even exist at all. Kureno says they exist, but they're unnatural. So... they have like that weird relationship with this bond. It's unnatural, it's strange, it's there, sacred, intense. Then we have a different type of bond, which is more like romantic. We can see that in some of the characters where like we have Kyoru moments where they're starting to blossom, and what does that do to the characters, and how does that change their opinions on certain things. And then we also have familial bonds, and that's a big one. We see that with Tohru, with her mother. We see that with the different Zodiac members who have family members that they still are in touch with, like Yuki and Ayame, and what that does for them. And even on a certain level with their Soma clan, what that familial bond does for them too.
Mhm.
So we keep seeing all of these bonds clash, bonds that break, where the parent separates from the child. What does that do for them? We get romantic bonds where they fall apart or they come together, like Kana and Hattori, and then Hattori and Mayu. And so this whole show is bonds. It's kind of nuts, isn't it?
It's so well interwoven. just like the strings and the ropes and stuff. But like it's so well interwoven how this story, like on like the very surface, the most surface level, it's about the curse. But it's like not really. Like it is, but like not really. It's all about the bonds and how people establish those bonds. And the curse is just like the icing on the cake to kind of drive the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love that it's the driver, but the really important stuff is all of the relationships and all of the bonds that kind of interweave within and outside of the Soma family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's so crazy because like, are any of them more valid than others? You know, like maybe not. You know, I would say that the easy answer is to say that the curse, the artificial, the like kind of strange bond is the least real, but at the same time, it could be the most real. Like in a very strange, twisted sort of supernatural way. And so it's almost like a philosophical thing. What matters the most to you in your relationships with each other? And I think that that's such a cool thing for this show to address. And it's not really something that a lot of shows address to this depth in how people interact with each other and how people, like, what people mean to each other, whether it's family, friends, romantic, or otherwise. Then after that, we learn a little bit about the notorious dream.
Oh, yes. The one that I have been desperately trying to get you to have a theory about. And
It's so hard.
You were close.
That was kind of...
Sometimes it's good to get a little bit wrong.
I was barking up a tree near... I was in the same orchard.
Yeah.
I was in the same orchard, not necessarily the right tree. Because I always thought that this dream was going to be about them discovering the ones that they loved. They were dreaming about who they loved, and I thought that it turned sour for everyone but Shigure, because Shigure still had hope for the one he loved, whereas people like Hattori maybe lost that. I couldn't really come up with something valid for anyone else, but that's kind of where I landed at. And it, like, kinda... It is a soured bond. It's just, I was thinking it was a romantic bond, but it was the curse bond. Because it soured for everyone except for Shigure, who's still, like, all in, and still loves that curse bond, loves that Akito, loves that god.
Yeah, so we learn that the dream that Shigure, Hattori, Ayame, and Kureno all had was of Akito saying, "I'll see you soon." And so then they wake up and they're crying, just like you said, you got this part right, just like Yuki when Yuki met Akito and was crying. So it was just like that. So you got that part totally right, 10 out of 10.
Yes.
So then after they wake up crying, they all run over to Ren, and I mean, as you said, very creepily, and I agree.
Yeah,
it was pretty creepy.
It was really, like, that was kind of scary.
Yeah.
Because essentially, they all simultaneously became, for lack of a better word, possessed by their zodiac spirits, and they all went up to Ren and, like, hovered their hands over her stomach before she even knew she was pregnant. Like, that is, I don't know, that scene, like, gave me, like, weird, very strange, disconcerting vibes about this whole curse. Like, that made me feel very weird, just for Ren. No wonder she's not a fan of Akito. No, I'm kidding. That's never appropriate for a mother to act like. Hey, regardless.
And my personal favorite part of this scene. That laugh tells me that I don't even need to finish my sentence. You're already there. Okay, so we see all these characters. They're crying. They're running. They're thinking about Akito, this girl, the god that they've been waiting for. And then Kureno throws in a little bit of information. Ritsu doesn't remember. So Ritsu doesn't remember that Akito's a girl because Ritsu was too young. And they didn't even draw on Ritsu's face. Like, I love that Ritsu doesn't even get a face in this scene. It's just so funny. I'm so sorry, Ritsu.
We've joked on Ritsu before, but Ritsu deserves a little bit more love, I think. They really gave Ritsu kind of the shaft.
Sorry, Ritsu.
But that
even get a face.
That was really funny. Didn't even draw on the face. Oh yeah, Ritsu is alive, but Ritsu is too young. Sucks.
Oh god.
But yeah, it's after this that we kind of go back to Kureno.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking to Tohru, and he essentially says, like, kind of like what we already talked about, that once the curse was broken, he could only see a young girl crying, and that's why he has to stay with her, and it's completely his choice to do so. His arm isn't being twisted. He has no obligations that are outside of his own control to stay with Akito. He does it because he wants to, which I think is very telling, and that's why he can't go see Arisa. Sorry, Utani.
You don't get your slightly problematic love story.
But, you know, maybe in the future someday.
Maybe in the future when she's at an appropriate age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would... that's favorable.
I like that one better.
I like that. But then the conversation finishes up. Tohru is absolutely shooky like a cookie.
Oh, yeah. She says she's frozen.
And quite literally.
Yeah.
She is on the ground frozen. And a certain horse was watching.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Isuzu, which I feel like we should just call her Isuzu at this point because Ren.
Ren?
That's getting a little confusing. So, Isuzu.
Yes.
Isuzu. She was watching, and we don't know how much of the conversation she was there for, or if she could even hear it.
Yeah.
But we do see that she runs off.
I think she heard some of it. Because of the look on her face,
mm-hmm.
She was very, like... She had a piercing gaze
mm-hmm.
with her stylin' scarf.
Oh yeah, she was styling today.
Wildin' and stylin', go Isuzu. But I think she heard a fair amount of it. And then Tohru, poor girl. I know it was sunset, but she's there until, like, it is dark.
Oh yeah. Oh, poor girl. But no worries. She gets saved. Quite arguably the best scene.
Quite arguably the best scene in the series.
Yes. So Hanajima, the absolute best, comes to save the day.
And you can't leave out that her wonderful little brother,
oh,
Megumi,
yes.
The king, is also there.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna date this for a hot second, but so Megumi was trending on Twitter today, and John told me later that he saw that Megumi was trending on Twitter, and he goes, Allie, I think I might have been spoiled. And I go, don't worry, that was a different anime. They share a lot of names. But it was so cute that you thought you got spoiled about something big with Megumi, and I couldn't even just be like, Megumi's not even in this episode.
Yeah, because he was. What are the chances that he was, like, in it, like, a decent amount in the grand scheme of things, and a different anime had Megumi trending.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would Megumi, of all characters, be trending? I've never seen Fruits Basket trend before. And Megumi, of all people, is the one to do it?
So after Hanajima does her little da-da-da-da jingle... God, god, I love it. Because in the manga, I think she only said ta-da, which is still really funny. But so after she does that, she takes Tohru back, she saves her, and she's gonna have a, what did she call it? It was supposed to be slumber party, but she said, what was it, nightgown?
Yeah, like a nightgown celebration or something like that. It was, as Yuki pointed out, it was a pajama party.
Yeah.
It was a pajama party. Which, this episode needed a little bit more Yuki.
You always say that.
Every episode could use a little bit more Yuki.
You're right, but one thing that I particularly loved about this whole scene with Yuki answering the phone and everything was Shigure.
Mm-hmm.
And Shigure hears that Tohru has run away to Hanajima's, and his response is, was she really that shocked? Because he sent Tohru off to go get some envelopes, knowing truly that he didn't want any envelopes. He wanted her to go talk to Kureno so she could learn that his curse was broken. They never talked about any of this other stuff. Kureno's over here dropping every single family secret he can. And Shigure's like, I mean, what did he tell her? Like, she's so shocked.
I love how later in the episode, Arisa compares Tohru and Kureno, and she's like, oh, you two are the same. Whereas you can tell Tohru anything, and she's a steel trap. She will keep your secrets to the grave.
Yes.
Whereas Kureno's like, yo, Akito, big family secret, only 4 of us know, she's a woman. He's a blabbermouth. You can't tell the man anything.
No, he's gonna let it all loose.
Like, in another life, he would be the family gossip.
Yes.
And I love that.
But Hanajima's making sure to take good care of Tohru. Got her tea that her mom totally made. Bless her mother's soul.
Oh, her mother is a delight. She is sunshine in human form.
Oh, you're right. You're right. No wonder why Hanajima loves Tohru. It's her mom. Oh my gosh. Tohru's always the mom. Anyways, okay.
We're digressing.
We're falling apart. We're spiraling. Okay. But so Tohru says that she's feeling very confused, and later on she says that she's useless because she couldn't help when everybody else has been helping her, and she couldn't just do this one thing. And Hanajima puts it together so well. She says, putting other people's feelings ahead of your own is something that you do all the time. I worry what that will do for you. And one day I fear that it will crush you. And in this moment, we get the best scene, animated-wise.
Yes.
Because the scene of Kyo going in the crosswalk and seeing Tohru's scarf, oh my gosh, it's nuts. It was so beautiful.
It was such a good scene.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a good scene.
I loved when the cross now sign was blinking to let him know that he needed to finish crossing as he's standing in the middle of the crosswalk. Mm-hmm. But when it's blinking and then the light reflects on everything, oh my gosh, it was so beautiful.
Yeah. But there's a lot to unpack with just these 2 scenes.
Yes.
The first thing I want to talk about in particular is what you mentioned, that Hanajima said, that if Tohru keeps taking on and internalizing everyone's struggles, everyone's issues, everyone's traumas, then it'll crush her. Which is quite literally a real thing. It's called vicarious trauma.
Ah, we're back to psychology time.
We're back to psychology.
Okay. Tell me about it.
So this happens to a lot of helping professionals in their professions, is that sometimes if you're not able to separate your own feelings from the feelings of the individuals that you are talking to or working with or you're close to, like, I don't know, Tohru taking on Kyo's curse thing and all the family secrets and everything going on with Utani while also dealing with her own stuff, while also dealing with Momiji's stuff. If she's not able to separate her emotions from all of these people's difficulties and traumas, then it in turn could turn into, and I think it's pretty safe to say that it has, started to become trauma for herself. She is, in essence, so empathetic that she is internalizing this trauma herself. And there's only so much, like Hanajima said, that one person can carry.
Mm-hmm.
So forget that she has her own difficulties that she has not worked through yet. She's also internalizing everyone else's at the same time. And that's frightening for anyone. She has the burden of everything on her shoulders, and people keep piling on, just like with the stupid traveler, or the idiot traveler in Momiji's story in season 1. While people definitely appreciate her, unlike with that traveler, Kyo certainly does now, and Hanajima and Utani clearly do. And it's great to have people like Kyo and Hanajima really looking out for her. She's still internalizing all of this stuff, and I think in turn, this is going to come to much more of a head for her character, where she will have a severe, I don't want to call it a breakdown, but I think she's going to have a lot of difficulties this season, unless something happens that takes some of this pressure off of her. But just based on the way the narrative has been going, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, we did see her cry a lot in that trailer.
Yeah, there's a lot of tears. The second thing, I'm sorry, this is so long, but the second thing that I wanted to talk about was the scarf.
Are you doing symbolism too? Because I'm happy to share what I believe the symbolism to be in a spoiler comment down below, but I'm interested in your theory, because I think my symbolic take on it might be a little spoiler.
So my idea of it is that, okay, so the scarf is in the middle of the road and gets run over by a truck or a car or whatever, right?
Okay.
And Kyo sees that.
Mm-hmm.
He recognizes that to be Tohru's scarf. And so, if you've been watching the podcast, you know that I believe that Kyo was physically present when Kyoko, Tohru's mom, got hit by a car and died. And so him seeing that scarf, that white, pure scarf, in the middle of the road, just being run over, I think that it almost triggers something within Kyo, like, I don't want that to happen to Tohru. I need to save this scarf in particular, on the off chance that it is hers. Because I don't want what happened to Kyoko to happen to Tohru. And so, that's why he goes and saves it. Because he sees it and recognizes that he needs to be the one to save her from what happened to her mother. Because, yeah, who knows? Maybe her mother cared a little bit too much too, and that's what led to her downfall. It might have been a freak accident, or maybe not. I don't know.
That's a good theory. I will leave my idea of the symbolism down below because I just feel like it's spoilery, so you probably shouldn't include it. But I'll leave it in a spoiler comment.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to spoil you, so. Okay, so after that scene, we get Utani, and she shows up, and this is the part where I cry, because they kind of work through their issues. She decides that she's not going to continue to pursue Kureno, because she realizes that Tohru is like Kureno, and, she just doesn't need to keep bothering people like that and upsetting them, because she could see that she's upsetting Tohru, and she could see that Kureno's dealing with something else, and she doesn't want to bother him anymore. And so she just is going to take a step back and just let go of her romance. Very sad. I cried. Because, when she's hugging Tohru, it's just so sweet.
This episode hit on so many amazing emotional beats. From the high highs to, like, the low lows to, like, the bittersweet happiness. Oh, it was such a good scene.
Yes, and the next scene was the one that you were particularly excited about.
We got the Reen Ren conversation.
Oh my god.
And, like, Ren is quite... Then, when she walked up behind Reen, Isuzu. We're calling her Isuzu.
Yeah, because Ren also calls her Isuzu.
True.
This is like one of the only people who has.
But they're the same person.
Mm.
But like one is, well, not like, not personality wise, but
Yeah.
like appearance wise.
Okay. Good save.
Thank you. But Ren is just much taller. And it looks like Isuzu's been up to something, looking for something, way to break the curse. And Ren might be able to help out with that. Which, curious to see where that goes.
Yeah, very curious.
Very curious.
Gosh, this is going to be our thing this season, isn't it?
Curious.
Okay, and then we end this beautiful, special episode that has come a little bit sooner than we thought it would.
It's like an early Christmas.
Yeah, it is. But we end this episode with just the most wonderful, beautiful Kyoru.
Tell me
Love
about
it.
it.
Love
Tell me all your feelings.
So first of all, Tohru entering, seeing her scarf, she's talking to herself in true Tohru fashion. And then Kyo is so nonchalant about it. He's like, yeah, saw that scarf. Tried to get the stains out, but I couldn't get them all out, so. And he washed her clothes. He washed it for her, so it wasn't just dirty. Like, I found this. Is this yours? No, he took the time to wash it and try and remove the stains.
In my head, he was like in a sink, just like scrubbing it to try and get the stains out, just like tirelessly.
Yeah, not even knowing if it really is her scarf. Like, what if it was an extra? What if he just found this scarf and he was like, oh, well, now you have another one. Like,
oh, such a sweet boy.
And then quite possibly the best part about their interaction is first of all, there's two. They just so naturally fall into this cutesy little, like, what were you up to? How was your sleepover? And then she's so cute, so happy, and it hits him with the pom-pom. But then Yuki, sees them having a conversation and sees how happy that Tohru is. And it makes him do the cute little Yuki Soma boy, like, I'm gonna put my head to the side and smile thing. Oh my god.
The Soma head tilt.
The Soma head tilt.
Iconic.
Iconic. And it was very cute that he was like, oh, mom and dad are flirting.
And I love how this episode ends the way it does, because even though it is episode 1, because it was released early, the way this episode ends almost feels like it does feel like an episode 0 in a way. Mm-hmm. Like the in-between between season 2 and season 3, because at the very end, they're all like, Tohru's home? Hey, it's Tohru! And it's like, she's back. And it feels like the beginning of something new, because it just like feels like a first episode moment, and they're all chatting.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of season 1 episode 1, where season 1 episode 1 started with, oh, who's this? Like, oh my gosh, hi, and ends with big secret revealed. And then this one starts with big secret revealed and ends with, oh my gosh, hi, Tohru.
Mm-hmm.
It's the opposite.
I love this.
It's so wonderful.
I love this.
We'll see you back next month, huh?
April can't get here soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No way. We went through everything. We're all good.
Extensively. Awesome. So we hope that you were just as excited as we were to see this first episode a little bit early, and we hope that you will join us for the entirety of season 3, the final season of Fruits Basket, because oh my gosh, I think that this is going to be so much fun to get to talk about. But if you like this video, you want to see more of this kind of content coming from this channel, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and why not even ring that notification bell so you never miss another upload. And if you have not heard yet, we have officially launched merch on our Teespring page. So, link to that will be in the description down below. And we have 2 designs up. Our Hanajima design, which is very Fruits Basket oriented, and our Crow design, which is more Persona 5 inspired. So, if that interests you, make sure to check it out. It's the best way to support the channel. And as always, we hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of your week, and why not even a fantastic rest of your month, especially until the next episode comes out. That'll do it for today's video, guys. Later.
See ya.